Yo, what is up, Crocs and Clan members, Legend of Korra fans, and other self-storm on this video? I'm Source Croxing, and today we're going to be doing episode 2 review for Legend of Korra, book 4, and boy was it a really lackluster episode until the very end. So essentially, this is our journey with Korra. The episode is essentially our journey with Korra. From the moment she left Republic City to how she got to where she was in the end of the first episode and what is gonna come next, essentially. So we get to see we always see her in the area she's at, which is really random. We still don't know where exactly it is, but the point is she was walking around after the fight that happened in the last episode where she just got beaten badly, and like she basically has hallucinations, and we see them throughout the journey that they show off later throughout the episode. She basically sees herself in the avatar state. She's afraid. She is actually afraid of her avatar state. It brings back memories of when the fight with Sahir and the freaking poison that they injected her and all this other stuff. And so she's basically being tormented by herself. Her brain is essentially just messing with her, and so from there we start seeing the journey. Essentially, we see Korra leaving Republic City, saying goodbye to her friends and all that stuff, and then reaching, the South Pole. Obviously, she still has nightmares. So this is back before the 3-year time skip. So she has trouble sleeping because she has nightmares. They do skip a lot throughout it. Like they skip time, and actually I kind of prefer it this way because I really don't want it to be like 4 episodes dedicated to that whole 3-year time skip because it's nonsense. I hate it when they do that. But anyways, so they skipped around like 3-4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And her mom was concerned because she's not sleeping, she's not eating, she's not doing anything. So I was depressed. She's like, "Why don't you go see Katara?" And she's like, "Fine." And so she goes to see Katara, and she basically does the whole medical exam and stuff like that. How the poison did a lot of internal damage and all that stuff. And then she's basically becomes like her physical therapist. She's like, because Korra asks her if she can heal her, and she's like, "I can help you with the process, but the only way you're gonna get better is if you really try to get better. If you yourself force yourself to get better." And so she then becomes like a physical therapist, helping her move and the whole. I don't like you guys know when you have like an injury where you can't walk and like when you start doing physical therapy they have like these 2 handrails and you basically like have you on there holding on and they try to get you to walk so you can find like kind of get back in motion so that you get back the feeling in your legs and start basically being able to move on your own. And so they were doing that, but Korra kept failing and kept failing, and it got to a point where she was just frustrated because it had been a couple months and she still couldn't get it. She fell down. She couldn't take more than a couple steps before just landing on her face. So she was frustrated. She was angry. Like she got letters from Asami, from Mako and Bolin about how they're doing, how their lives are going and how they're making progress with their lives and all this other stuff. And she's over here in a pity party talking about how much she sucks and all this other stuff. And so she feels horrible. She feels frustrated and angry and upset that she hasn't made any progress. Asami is gonna restructure Republic City. Mako's back with the police force doing stuff. Like he's basically like in a secret mission, and Bolin joined the army. Like, and she can't even walk, so she's angry, frustrated, and Katara obviously tells her, that's why you gotta push yourself. You gotta force. You are the only thing stopping you from getting better. Your mind doesn't want to let you get better. You have to fight your mind. And then we go from there, and she starts progressively getting better. We see after like a couple years, we actually I think it was like the first 2 years actually, where Tenzin shows up to the South Pole, and like she basically shows him a sparring match where she still messes up, but she's still getting better. And then jump back to like the press. They kept doing a lot of jumping back and forth to where I got lost half the time, especially towards the end where I didn't understand what the heck was going on. But essentially, what was happening is like she saw she saw a dog, like a little puppy dog, and like the spirit, her avatar state showed up again, and the dog started barking at it. So she's like, okay, so this is clearly not in my head if you can see it. And the dog is like barking at it and barking at it, and the thing disappears, and then it has Korra follow it, and again back in the whole transition phase. She's getting better, right? And it's been the 3 years already. And Korra's like, I want to go back to Republic City. And her father's like, okay, so let me tell the White Lotus to get ready so they can take you. She's like, no, no, I'm fine. I need to do this by myself, And like I know, and how she needs to take the time while getting there, by herself, meditate and all that stuff. And she reaches an area where she's gonna buy some fish and or some food technically. And it sells the merchant is like, wait a minute, I know who you are. You're the Avatar. He has a picture of Aang doing that. I don't know if you guys remember where he used to like do a little trick where he would have something floating in between his hands. It could be like any like metal thing. It was just like basically a picture of him doing that when he was older. It was so funny. Um, and he wants a picture of Korra, and then there's a robbery going on, and she can't do anything. Like she actually messes up again, and like the lady that got that they stole from like was like, are you sure this is the Avatar and all that stuff? And then she again, that's when the pity party starts because then she like finds a secluded area and she changes her water tribe outfit for an Earth Kingdom one and cuts her hair short and everything and just basically changes her way of being. She can't connect with Rava for some reason. So she's on the journey to basically connect with Rava. She actually goes to the North Pole. Um, and goes into the spirit world to go to the tree, and like tries to meditate there. And like there's just a bunch of spirits that show up. I didn't know they could talk. They never specifically said they could talk, but it was the most adorable thing. Oh, by the way, there was a spirit in there when I saw it. I was like, that's freaking Waylord. What the heck? Um, but it was like the most adorable little spirits. So the ones that came to talk to her, they were all just so cool, so cute and adorable. And they're like, well, I mean, because she says that she can't connect with Rava, and then one of them that looked like a snail was like, no wonder I couldn't sense the Avatar's spirit when I came over here. And so they're like, well, we can help you. And then she's like, well, everybody that's been trying to help me for the past 3 years hasn't been able to do it. And so she like leaves. Um, by the way, she couldn't reach Republic City because herself was stopping her, like her Avatar state self was stopping her. So she was basically after that, she was just started wandering around, going from place to place, and like, and then she started. That's when the letters started being sent, like, Mom and Dad, I'm doing great. I've reached Republic City where everything's fine and dandy. We're all cool and amazing. I'm with my friends. I'm progressively getting better. I'm not doing anything too extravagant, but I hope to get in the action soon. All that stuff. Um, and then it leads to her following her avatar state form, and this is where it started getting weird because she ended up reaching the city during the 3 year transition. But they made it the way it looked is like she was following the dog. Like the dog wasn't there, but we obviously know the dog was following the thing. So that's the way it looked. So I didn't know that was part of the backstory thingy because she ended up going into the arena where she fought in the last episode, um, and where she ended up losing really bad and all that other stuff. And so it's like, what the heck is going on? Like it was, she was basically fighting herself, except or looking at her opponent as her avatar state self. And then that she messed up pretty badly. And then it goes back to the freaking following dog, which is like leading her to like the swamp area. And this is the only good part about the episode for me personally, besides the little the Aang picture. Now that was just funny. But she reaches the swamp, and then the dog ends up being the little tiny spirit that she saw in in the back then, telling basically like guiding her. And she's like, why didn't you tell me it was you? He's like, well, would you have followed me if I told you it was me? He's like, you're right. And she's like, and she asked her why they're there. Like, what the heck are they gonna find there? Like, and she's like, what? Not like the thing is like you're not finding a thing, you're finding a somebody. So it like flies away, and she's like chasing it, and then she runs into her other form again, and then the fight that it's not really a fight. Well, I mean, it is a fight, but it's a one-sided fight because the other form is just kicking her ass like really badly. Like Korra can't get an offense anywhere, and the freaking Avatar state form hallucination. Well, I'm just gonna say it's a spirit. Um, it was teleporting. Like it was legit teleporting. Like you would see her like this, and you could see the what is it? The little dang it. When in animes when a character teleports, there's always like these little lines that go with it to show that they teleported. That's essentially what it was doing. And then Korra was trying to get away from it after that. She was trying to get away. And the thing uses the chains because it's essentially her during the fight with Zahir, where she had like chains around her arm, and it used this chains to grab Korra by the leg. And I don't know in what mindset you grab vines to hold on to. Those things aren't very, strong. Those things break very easily. Surprisingly, it lasted long enough. But so the thing was dragging her, right? And then the pool of like what looked like the poison from the third book, and then the thing started sinking in, the spirit started sinking in there and like pulling on Korra, and she's like trying to hold on into the vines, and then the first one breaks, and so she's like holding on to the other one now, and then that breaks, and she just gets dragged into the poison, and she's like screaming for help and all this other stuff. And then she wakes up in an underground cave, and then there's like this old lady who's like cooking something in a pot, and I'm like, okay, random. They're like cooking and stuff, and then Korra's like, where am I? What's going on? And she's like, well, I was hoping you'd be able to tell me. And then she starts talking about it. And then the old lady talks about how she's not the first, like the whole Avatar thing. She's like, you know who I am? And it's like, well, kind of. And then she's like, I used to know you in a past life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Toph. She like turns around and it's her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's freaking Toph. And then the funniest, coolest thing is like, she's like, hey, like basically, she's like, hey, how you doing, Twinkle Toes? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's freaking Toph. And I was like super duper excited. I freaking just lost it. Because as everybody should know, Toph is one of my favorite characters from the original series. And I was just excited to see her again. Toph was one of those characters that from the first book, I was like, where is Toph? Like, we saw Katara, we knew Zuko was alive, and I was like, I want Toph. Toph was the youngest one. I want to see her now. And I finally got it. So I'm super happy. This makes up for that last part makes up for the lackluster episode and the horrible episode that was the first one. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this review. I'm super stoked for the series now. At least during the top part. It might get bad after that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Stores and Croxon. Leave your thoughts in the comment sections down below, and I'll catch you guys in future videos.